Zach Roloff and divorce today. Zach Roloff cheated on Tori Roloff today. Zach Roloff eventually married her covert girlfriend. I'll tell you all about it. Greetings and welcome. A narrative that has been simmering away from the spotlight of the TLC cameras and the carefully manicured beauty of social media is what you are about to hear. It is a tale of love, grief, and the terrible consequences of a family conflict. It tells the tale of Zach and Tori Roloff's demise. When the news finally surfaced, it created shockwaves. Through the devoted following. A silent divorce petition in Washington's Clark County. No big TV pronouncements. No emotional confessionals. Just a court filing that marks the breakup of one of the most adored couples on reality TV. However, it's not just about the divorce. The most startling aspect isn't even this. We must return in order to comprehend how we got here. Years. Not a couple of months. We must go back to the starting point and the point at which everything collapsed. Roloff Farms. Roloff. In Helvetia, Oregon, Farms was more than just a piece of land. To Zach Roloff, it was everything. It was his heritage, his workplace, and his playground. He felt he was meant to carry on the tradition. He wasn't just bringing her into his life when he met Tori Patton in 2010, a kindergarten teacher with a kind smile and a quick laugh. He was bringing her into the center of that legacy. One of the main plot points of the show was their courting. We witnessed their engagement in the middle of the pumpkin patch, their first dates, and their lovely nuptials on the property that made Zach who he was. It appeared as though that dream was coming true. Jackson was their first son, while Lila was their second daughter. Only a short distance from the main farmhouse, they were the epitome of a contented, expanding family. Tori embraced the bustle of pumpkin season and the television crew's continual presence, blending in perfectly with the Roloff environment. By all accounts, she was Zach's ideal mate. Grounded and encouraging. However, there was a shadow. And Matt Roloff, the man who created the dream, was the one who cast the shadow. The future of the farm was the main conflict, the one that would eventually contaminate everything. The issue of who would inherit the property became a source of obvious conflict when Matt and Amy's marriage ended. For many years, Zach and the show promoted the idea that he would be the one. Of the 4 Roloff children who had worked on the farm continuously, he was the only one who truly demonstrated a passion for it, for its functions. In 2021, the negotiations really got underway. And this is when Zach and Tori's foundation developed its first catastrophic crack. We all watched it happen, but maybe we didn't realize how deeply betrayed Zach felt. Zach claims that there was a lack of good faith in the discussions. He believed his father viewed him as merely another buyer rather than as a son continuing a family tradition. Right in the middle of the storm was Tori. She was a first-hand witness to her husband's anguish. She witnessed the man she loved being ignored and stonewalled by his own father. She was also really protective. She could never have predicted how prophetic those remarks would be. The farm deal did not simply collapse. It blew up. It caused an irreversible breach to form between Zach and Matt. Everyone was startled when Matt decided to sell off a piece of the farm, the exact piece Zach desired, to the public. Even the family house was turned into a short-term rental by him. For Zach, this was the ultimate act of treachery. Any stranger with a credit card might now rent the house he grew up in and the land he bled for. It was an obvious message. More important than legacy was money. This animosity wasn't limited to the father and son relationship. It permeated Zach and Tori's union. The farm was more than just a plot of land. It was their shared dream, their future, and it had been stolen. A tabloid was informed by a person close to the family at the time. After that, Zach was someone else entirely. His eyes lost their brightness. He believed that his future and his entire childhood were unworthy. Tori made an effort to remain strong, but she felt helpless as she watched her husband descend into a profound despair. The dream had died, and bitterness had taken its place. Seeking a new beginning and desperate to physically separate themselves from the cause of their suffering, Zach and Tori took a decision that would change their lives in October 2021. An hour away in Battleground, Washington, they purchased $1 million house. From Roloff Farms. It appeared to be a lovely new beginning. A larger home and more space for their kids to play on, including Joa, their third child. However, it was actually in exile. They had abandoned the family support system, their friends, and their neighborhood. Only the two of them and their 3 small children remained on the island. At this point, their relationship started to subtly but permanently change. Tori had her own life in Oregon. She taught. She possessed her own companions. She had a role on the farm. Her roles as a mother and wife, as well as her growing prominence on social media, came to define her in Washington. Her Instagram account, which had always been well-liked, became into her main means to interact with people and a substantial source of revenue. She started sharing more day-in-the-life anecdotes and sponsored content. In addition to being necessary, it meant that their new life and their escape from the farm spotlight were now being recorded and made money in a new manner, one that Tori had complete control over. Zach, however, seems to withdraw even more into himself. Although he was portrayed on the show as a devoted stay-at-home father, people close to him paint a more nuanced picture. Zach sensed a slide. According to one source, he got his identity from the farm. He was the guy from the TV show and Tori's husband in Washington. He didn't have a personal mission. More than anything, he loved his children, but he was having trouble figuring out who. He used to be a man. Their marriage was under increasing strain. They were dealing with the tremendous difficulties of parenting 3 children, 2 of whom have androplasia and the associated serious health issues. Lily's health concerns and Jackson's leg surgery. For every couple, these are enormous sources of stress. However, Tori and Zach had to deal with them in a new town where the family support system was broken. Additionally, with the farm spirit following them about at all times, the fissures that had developed during the argument started to break down. Fans became aware of a shift. Zach was starting to fade into the background of Tori's colorful, carefully manicured virtual world. When he did show up, he frequently appeared worn out or aloof. Their confrontations on the show became less lighthearted and more frequent. Parenting, money, and, most telling of all, their future on the show were all points of contention. They formally declared their departure from Little People, Big World following the 25th season in early 2024. Zach explained his justifications on their podcast. Incredibly clear. According to reports, this was a key cause of conflict even though they put on a united face. Tori was reluctant to give up the platform and the extremely high revenue it generated, even if she could understand Zach's motivations. It provided them with the most of their financial security. But Zach was desperate to cut the last connection. The show, in his opinion, kept reminding him of the family strife and kept him from ever really moving on. That was the last battle for dominance. According to a production insider, Zach was firm. In essence, he stated, "It's the show or it's me." He thought that the show prevented him from having a genuine private life. Tori had made sharing her life her job. They were now directly at odds with their basic desires. The harm was done, but they left the show. With a mound of bitterness and unsaid sorrow between them, they were now simply 2 people living in a large Washington home. The show, the farm, and the family had turned into the thing that united them. That's what broke them apart. At least in public, there was an odd silence surrounding Zach and Tori's home following the announcement of their departure from the show. Although Tori's Instagram account was still live, her astute fans saw a noticeable change. More generic kid-focused content took the place of the gushing posts about Zach and the affectionate birthday or anniversary tributes. There were no longer any unposed pictures of them sitting on the couch together. Instead, there were pictures of Tori alone or with her friends. Mysterious captions about new seasons and gaining strength. For example, a post from May 2024 had a sunset photo with the description, "Sometimes the most beautiful skies come after the most violent storms. Trusting the process." At the time, the statement looked like a corny motivational saying. It turned out to be a breadcrumb. By the spring of 2024, Zach and Tori were living apart under the same home, according to sources. It was a deal for the children. An individual posing as an internet forum received a report from a neighbor in Battleground. They weren't a pair, but they were polite. They shared a room and were co-parents. There was a noticeable tension. From the other side of the street, you could sense it. According to reports, Zach had emotionally checked out. All he could think about was Jackson, Layla, and Joa. He played with them in the yard, took them to appointments, and gave them a sense of normalcy during the day. While their parents' marriage was quietly disintegrating, Tori focused on her career and her friendships. She started projects around the house, increased her influencer collaborations, and went on excursions with her girlfriends, all of which Zach was noticeably missing. In front of us, she was constructing a new life for herself, piece by piece. However, we were too preoccupied with the final outcome to pay attention to the background deconstruction. Late August 2024 saw the filing of the divorce, which was really a formality. For all practical reasons, the marriage had ended for months. The customary irreconcilable disagreements were cited in a confidential legal filing filed in Clark County. No press tip was given, and there was no media frenzy. They wanted to deal with it in secret, away from the prying eyes that had characterized their relationship as a whole. Of course, no secret remains forever in the digital era. A local court reporter discovered the petition a week after it was made when cross-referencing names for another article. Victoria Roloff versus Zachary Roloff. The information surfaced on a tiny local news website before being acquired by major media. Officially, the fairy tale was finished. 2 days later, they posted a sterile, well-crafted joint statement on their Instagram stories. Following a great deal of introspection, we have decided to part ways. Our greatest priority is our 3 lovely children, and we will remain committed co-parents to them. We both agreed on this, and we will proceed with mutual respect. As we negotiate this new situation, we appreciate your grace and want privacy. A new chapter for our family. However, the united front disintegrated rapidly. A few days later, Tori shared a heartfelt story that was later removed. Olivia Rodrigo's song Enough for You was playing, and all that was seen was her red-eyed face. Satch said nothing, but the caption said, "Some things you just can't fight for anymore." His Instagram account was disabled. He vanished. At this point, the narrative takes a turn that nobody could have foreseen, not even the most pessimistic of the family's detractors. As Tori was openly, Zach Roloff had disappeared from the public eye while she dealt with her loss and accepted her new role as a strong single mother. Many believed he was just trying to get his bearings, licking his wounds, and hiding from the attention he said he hated. The reality is much more nuanced. Zach had not been merely hiding. He was recovering. He wasn't working alone, either. A new woman has entered his life within the last 12 months. A woman who is the exact opposite of the reality TV culture he was trying so hard to get away from. Her. Hannah Miller is her name. Who is Hannah Miller, then? A picture of the woman who has won Zach Roloff over has been assembled by our inquiry. Hannah works at a specialty clinic in the Vancouver, Washington area as a pediatric physical therapist. She is 33 years old. She graduated from a Pacific Northwest institution with a doctorate in physical therapy. She doesn't have any public social media accounts because she is quite private. She has never watched Little People, Big World in its entirety. As per a source who works, their meeting took place at the clinic. Prior to the divorce becoming widely known, Zach brought one of his children in for a consultation in early 2024. Hannah was given his case, however, when it became evident that he and Tori were on the run. At first, it was strictly professional, yet there was an instant connection. She wasn't a TV personality. She treated him like any other worried parent. That was a huge deal for him, in my opinion. According to this report, a friendship formed after several months of appointments. Zach would discuss with her the difficulty of parenting children with special physical needs. He discovered someone who had a profound, sincere empathy for it in addition to understanding its medical aspects. Instead of Roloff, she saw him as a father. He confided in her about his family's difficulties and the demands of his life. Without passing judgment, she simply listened. In secret, their bond grew. They would get together in tiny, remote kais for coffee. They would stroll around parks located distant from his battleground neighborhood. Zach found this to be an incognito life, one he had never experienced. He wasn't a show with Hannah. He was only a dude. The physical discrepancies, which were a frequent topic of discussion on the show and in his relationship with Tori, who was normal in height, weren't a problem for Hannah. She was curious about his thoughts and feelings. The source goes on to say, she fell for the loving parent and the good-hearted injured man behind the public image. Although his dwarfism was a part of him, she didn't see it as defining him, and that. When Tori posted about storms and new seasons, Zach was quietly establishing a new foundation with someone who had no interest in the world that had almost destroyed him. This secret relationship gave Zach the strength and resolve he needed to finally end his broken marriage and walk away from the show. Hannah represented everything he now craved: privacy, normalcy, and a life where his worth wasn't measured by TV ratings or the ownership of a farm. And Tori were settled in early December 2024. The terms were not made public, but it is believed that they agreed to share custody of the children 50-50, and that Tori would stay in the battleground house, which Zach signed over to her as part of the settlement. To the world, it appeared that a sad chapter was coming to an end, but 2 weeks ago, on a sunny Saturday in June 2025, the most shocking development of all took place. Zach Roloff and Han Miller were married. The ceremony was completely different from his televised wedding too. The most telling part of the story is the guest list. Zach's 7-year-old son, Jackson, was his best man. His daughters, Lila and Joa, were present. Amy Roloff and her husband, Chris Murick, were present. Amy can be seen in one photo wiping away a tear, looking both happy for her son and sad for him. Tori, it wasn't held on Roloff Farms with hundreds of guests and a television crew, but rather in the backyard of Hannah's parents' modest home in a quiet suburb of Portland, Oregon. And hurt by the situation, but it's equally important to know who wasn't there. Matt Roloff wasn't invited, Jeremy, Audrey, Jacob, and Molly weren't there either, probably to avoid taking sides in the still raw family quarrel, and of course, Tori wasn't there. A wedding guest who spoke to us under anonymity described the event as being all about them: heartfelt, simple, and extremely emotional. Zach talked about feeling lost for a long time and how Hannah didn't just help him. There was not a dry eye in the yard. The guest went on, this wasn't about creating a TV moment. She helped him find himself. He called her his peace. It has to do with starting a life. They asked everyone to refrain from posting anything on social media. All they desired was a single day that was exclusively theirs. Only after one of the attendees' distant relatives, who was ecstatic about the private ceremony, gave a well-known blogger a few pictures did the word get out. The internet took off in a matter of hours. The response has been a flurry of conflict and polarized allegiances. I'm sick, Tori's fan. He didn't wait a year at all. While he flees and marries the first woman who shows him kindness, Tori stays at home to raise his 3 children. Incredibly so. Zach's admirer. Well done. He spent years in misery. Instagram was more important to Tori than his pleasure. He deserves to have a quiet life with someone who isn't constantly looking to make money off of them. Since the wedding was announced, Tori has not spoken in public. She has, however, unfollowed Amy Roloff and Zach Roloff on Instagram. The story of Zach and Tori Roloff was once a fairy tale for a contemporary television audience, but yesterday she shared a single picture of her 3 kids cuddling up on a couch with the devastating, straightforward message, "Everything I will ever need." But the terrible poison of a legacy denied, the strain of familial expectations, and the demands of reality TV proved to be too much. The base constructed on Roloff Farms' unstable terrain was destined to fall apart. Zach Roloff has made his decision in the most dramatic manner imaginable. He has left behind the family dynamics that brought him so much suffering, the show, and the farm. He appears to have found a partner in Hannah Miller, who is a total rejection of his previous existence. He has opted for personal tranquility over a public legacy and solitude over notoriety. Now a single mother of 3, Tori Roloff is negotiating a reality she never imagined. She is a well-liked public figure and a strong influencer in her own right. Correct. However, she is also a lady whose life was forever altered by the fall of the Roloff empire. There are still many unanswered questions. What impact will this new dynamic have on the kids? Will Matt and Zach ever get back together? Will Zach ever give a public speech with his new wife? Or will they be able to create the peaceful life they so obviously want? Celebrity rumors are not the only reason for Zach and Tori's marriage dissolution. It's a warning story. An account of how unaddressed issues may cause even the most seemingly ideal households to fall apart. Conflict and how our worst nightmares might occasionally result from the dreams we are instructed to pursue. The Roloff family's vast world has just become much more intricate. Zach Roloff appears to be aiming to reduce the size of his globe significantly. Additional updates. To Tori and Zach, Matt Roloff. To me, you're essentially dead. Tori Roloff harbors a deeper resentment for Matt and Caryn. But why? I'll tell you all about it. Although we are unsure if Little People, Big World will get a new season, we do. Be assured that the network will have plenty of drama if TLC approves more episodes of this enduring reality show. Over the past 15 months, there has been a clear separation between Matt Roloff and his son, and implicitly, his daughter-in-law. As you recall, in May 2022, Matt listed a portion of his Oregon property for sale, which infuriated Zach Roloff, who felt his father had misled the public and denied him a reasonable chance to buy the property. Last time, he called him a coward. Spring. This message is devoid of appropriate context and is rife with inaccurate facts. Prior to the most recent season of Little People, Zach posted a message on the internet. The protagonists in Big World were candid and forthright about the continuous tension in those episodes, stating, "My dad is manipulating the narrative right now before the season comes out." According to reports, Tori has turned down Matt several times and has chosen to support her spouse, which is a logical choice. For instance, during the pumpkin season, continuing at Roloff Farms, neither Zach nor Tori took their kids there. She also shared the news on social media. Here is the latest Instagram post from Matt Roloff. The father of 4 spoke to his supporters from the rear of his tractor. With only 3 days and 1 weekend left, the remaining time is almost up. So far, this pumpkin season has been amazing. Everyone has expressed how much fun it is, and attendance has increased. Then, much as before, Matt called out to the members of his family and friends that worked on the farm this past Sunday. "We were pleased with the large attendance. In addition to the high number of visitors each year, there are also a lot of newcomers. It's been amazing. Thank you, and if you haven't already, I hope to see you next weekend, which is our fall break," Roloff said. "Tours have been given by Chris and Amy has been present every day. I have been here with Jacob, Izzy, and Matteo, and we have all enjoyed a fantastic fall with our guests. We never expected to raise this question regarding this family, but here we are. Are Tori and Zach going to reply? Leave a comment right away." Tori Roloff's resentment of Matt and Caryn grows. Last weekend together, it was clear to many online that Matt went to great lengths to avoid talking to Tori and Zach, probably just because they weren't at the pumpkin patch. Nevertheless, given the family's history, it's difficult not to see this as a purposeful public snub. Discord within the Little People Big World household has continued throughout and ever since the events surrounding Roloff Farms unfolded. Matt's decision to retire and ride off into the sunset with Caryn Chandler shows that she has reached a new low point in her dealings with Matt Roloff and Caryn Chandler. Why? The drama from Little People Big World continues as the family feud and the consequences of Roloff Farms continue. Raised the question of who would eventually take over. Tori says the family is still not good and she has no plans to leave her children at Roloff Farms anytime soon. But what has happened recently makes it clear that this is not going to change anytime soon. Jeremy and Zach Roloff were understandably upset with Matt for selling off a portion of Roloff Farms and for denying them what they saw as their rightful inheritance from their parents. Shades of Zach's father. Despite the fact that the family dispute has been going on for a while, Tori Roloff's recent actions indicate that she is still bitter about everything. She is also not afraid to criticize the patriarch of Little People, Big World. This is just another sly move this year. She also skipped Grandpa Matt's farm and took the Roloff grandchildren to 2 different pumpkin patches, which she couldn't wait to share online. As fans of Little People Big World who followed Tori Roloff's updates know, Lila's 3rd birthday was celebrated by Amy Roloff and Chris Merrick, but her immediate family was also present. It was clear that Caryn Chandler and Matt Roloff were not present, though, as Matt Roloff informed Caryn that they were leaving Dodge and would likely spend Thanksgiving in Arizona, where Caryn has stated that she wants to settle down. Lila's birthday invitation not extended? The fact that Matt and Caryn abruptly left during Lila's birthday celebration adds to the already existing tension in the Roloff family. Given their hostility, Tori Roloff might have declined to invite them to the party, or Caryn and Matt might have been invited but declined due to the perceived awkwardness, as Tori and Zach have been very critical of Caryn on the show lately. Even more telling is the fact that Matt and Caryn were not present at the celebration, unlike Amy and Chris. More update. Little People, Big World star Tori Roloff and sister-in-law Audrey Roloff tries to heal rift. I'll explain everything. Tori recently shared some adorable photos of her 3 children, Jackson, Leela, and Joa, with her husband Zachoff. Caryn usually manages to be there for their grandkids' important occasions. TLC stars Tori Roloff and Zach post a lot of photos of their 3 children on social media, but they are surprised to see Audrey, a long-distant relative, commenting on the posts. They have gone all out for this Halloween. Many fans have commented on the post, but fans are concentrating on one comment in particular. Her horde of loyal followers couldn't help but express their delight at seeing Jackson the LPB kid in his firefighter outfit and accompanied by his trusty Dalmatian puppy in the photos she posted. However, in contrast to his older brothers, Joa is far from having a good time. He is simply too cute. Captured on tape by his mom as he cries inconsolably while costumed as a newborn bird. The costumes are absolutely adorable. The feud between Audrey and Tori has been so well known that even Little People Big World actress Aunt Audrey felt obliged to comment. The Big World women broke up due to a major argument between the Little People's husbands, Zach and Jeremy, and the twins' disagreement is said to have sparked a long-lasting animosity between them. It seems that Zach felt his twin brother was treating him disrespectfully and that he was not getting the support and respect he deserved from family members. Claimed that Jeremy and Zach had a disagreement, and the 2 LPB Give stars have been at odds ever since. However, some TLC viewers are wondering if Audrey is attempting to patch things up with Tori Roloff. They believe that Audrey is making amends by commenting on Tori's post, and since the wives rarely comment on each other's posts, viewers may find the comment noteworthy. Is a reunion with the TLC family possible in season 24? The LPBO's aunt loved the picture so much that Audrey used 3 skull and crossbones emojis to show her disapproval of it, including, "I'm killing it at work and that joke was so funny, I'm dead." Both of these emojis are metaphors for death, so TLC viewers will be relieved if this is the start of the family's healing process and the end of their tumultuous relationships. Season 24 is a big deal for fans because they want to see. Many viewers are hoping that season 24 will bring about some significant changes, but even though that is what the audience wants, it probably won't happen anytime soon because the trailer for Little People, Big World season 24 features a lot of ongoing drama, so viewers won't see Audrey and Tori reconcile. Not this year, anyway, and not today. What are your thoughts on this gossip today? Let us know in the comments below. For more updates like this, please leave a comment below and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.